Okay guys, today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing integers. We did most of these notes in class, but in case we didn't finish them, we're going to go ahead and copy them down online so that you can get anything you missed, or just go back and redo the problems if you need to. So first off, we have our two rules for multiplying and dividing integers. We have the product, and product means the answer to a multiplication problem, or the quotient, which means that's the answer to a division problem. So the product or quotient of two integers with the same sign, that's important, same sign. So they're either both positive or they're both negative. So I've got positive, positive, or negative, negative, same signs. Okay, so the product or quotient of two integers with the same sign is always positive. Okay, always positive. So let's do our examples for example number 1 and 2. Okay, if you look here, a number next to parentheses, well, we've learned that this means to multiply, this means to multiply, and now we have a third way for you to learn. Okay, so the third way is when you have a number next to parentheses like this. Okay, so this means to multiply. If you don't see an operation in between the number and the parentheses, that means to multiply. So this is saying 6 times 7. So I'm going to look here. I have the same sign. It's positive 6 and positive 7. So I know my answer is going to be positive, because when you're multiplying numbers or dividing numbers that have the same sign, your answer is always positive. Okay? Positive 6 times positive 7 is positive 42. Okay, now let's look at B. I have a negative 9 times a negative 5. Okay, well, I know 9 times 5 is 45. And these both have the same sign, a negative times a negative. They have the same sign, it's going to be positive. So this is positive 45. Okay. Let's look at example C. 2 times 25, negative 2 times negative 25. Well, I'm just going to multiply my numbers first. 2 times 25 is 50. Now I'm going to figure out my sign. Well, negative times a negative, negative times a negative. If they have the same signs, it's positive. So my answer is positive 50. D. Positive 3 times positive 8. Well, 8 times 3 is 24. And since they have the same sign, my answer is going to be positive. If you remember today in class, we talked about our sleeping man. This is an easy way for us to remember or figure out which sign we're going to use in our answer. So for instance, negative 9 times negative 5, I have two negatives, so I would cover up my two negatives. What do I have left? Positive, so my answer is going to be positive. Okay, and we know that positive times positive, we know 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, so let's look at example number 2. These are all with division. Okay, I'm going to do my sleeping man again to help me remember. Okay, sleeping man. So 27 divided by 3. Well, I know a positive divided by a positive. Same sign, my answer is going to be positive. So what is 27 divided by 3? Or if divisions, if you're better at multiplication than division, just work backwards. 3 times what is 27? 9. Okay, and a positive divided by a positive is a positive because they have the same signs. Okay, let's do this one, B. Negative 55 divided by negative 5. Well, 55 divided by 5 is 11. You can check that. Is 5 times 11 55? It sure is. Okay, and then a negative divided by a negative. I've got two negatives. That's a positive. They have the same sign. So if they have the same sign, your answer is positive. C, 72 divided by 6. Remember, we said that fraction bar also means to divide. So this is like saying 72 divided by 6. And 72 divided by 6 is 12. And a positive divided by a positive, they have the same signs, so your answer is positive. Let's look at D. Negative 24 divided by negative 8. Okay, well, 24 divided by 8 is 3. You can check that. 8 times 3 is 24. Yes, that's right. Okay, and then a negative divided by a negative, they both have the same sign. They're both negative, so my answer will be positive. All right, now let's go back up to our rule. The product or quotient, product is multiplication, quotient is division. The product or quotient of two integers with different signs is negative. Okay, so we have, if they have the same sign, it's positive. If they have different signs, it's negative. And when I say they, I mean the numbers. So when the numbers have the same sign, it's positive. And when the numbers or integers have different signs, it's negative. So that's like a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. So let's look at example 3, letter A. Negative 4 times positive 9. Well, I know 4 times 9 is 36. Now let's figure out our sign. A negative times a positive. A negative times a positive. Are those different signs? Negative and positive? Yes, so my answer is going to be negative. We can also use our sleeping man for this. A negative times a positive. If I cover those up, what do I have left? A negative. Let's look at B. Negative 3 times positive 6. Well, 3 times 6 is 18. And a negative times a positive, they have different signs, so my answer will be negative. Again, negative times positive, cover them up. What do I have left? A negative. Let's look at letter C. Same thing. Positive 5 times negative 12. Well, 5 times 12 is 60. And a positive times a negative, they're different signs, so my answer is negative. Let's double check that with our sleeping man. A positive times a negative, what do I have left? A negative. We're good. Letter D, negative 6 times positive 7. Well, 6 times 7 is 42. And a negative times a positive, those are different signs, so my answer will be negative. Okay? A negative times a positive, cover them up. What do I have left? A negative. All right, let's go down to example 4. Again, I have my sleeping man here for you to refer to if you need to. 45 divided by negative 9. Well, I know 45 divided by 9 is 5. And a positive divided by a negative, those are different signs, positive and negative, so my answer is negative 5. Again, a positive divided by a negative, cover them up. I'm left with a negative number, so we're good. B, negative 42 divided by positive 7. Well, 42 divided by 7 is 6. And then a negative divided by a positive. Those are different signs, negative and positive, so my answer will be negative. Negative divided by a positive, cover it up. What do I have left? A negative. Let's look at C. 40 divided by negative 8. Well, I know 40 divided by 8 is 5. And a positive divided by a negative, different signs, so it's a negative 5. Again, a positive divided by a negative, covered up on my sleeping man. I'm left with a negative, so my answer is negative. And then lastly, letter D, negative 28 divided by positive 4. Well, I know 28 divided by 4 is 7. And a negative divided by a positive, those are different signs. Okay, different signs. So it's going to be a negative. And then we can double check with our sleeping man. A negative divided by a positive, that's a negative. We're good. So the key thing to remember here is A, use your sleeping man if you need to. Remember, this only works for multiplication and division. Okay, multiplication and division. When you're multiplying or dividing integers, if they have the same sign, it's positive. If they have different signs, it's negative. So same sign, positive, different signs, negative. All right, remember we can also say, oh, If they have different signs, different sounds a lot like difference. And to take the difference of two numbers means to subtract. So that's also a negative sign. You can think of it that way. Whatever works best for you.